Hello, it's Scott Jansen here, and if you're listening to this, you should reward and congratulate yourself for taking part and evolving as a human being in good habits. Now, like all good habits, we have plenty of them in our life. We love to grow, we love to learn, we love to socialize, we love to be the best human being we can be. But just like good habits, we also have bad habits. And today I want to talk about how can you start to understand your habits at a deeper level, what you can do to avoid them, and actually how they come about so you can avoid all the mishaps and pitfalls that we all tend to fall in. Now, when I say all of us, this is me included. These are your top personal development gurus. These are your world-class hypnotherapists. These are your world-class psychologists and psychiatrists. We as human beings and social mammals all have good and bad habits. And it's these good and bad habits that create who we are as an individual. But what I want to look at is the bad habits. How is it that a bad habit can actually exist in our life, and why do they stick around no matter what we do to try and avoid them? So what is a good habit? Well, a good habit's made up of things of thoughts, concepts, and repetition. Meaning basically that if you enjoy something a lot, you'll continue to do it. It's self-explanatory. But when it comes to a bad habit, you actually find the majority of your bad habits actually started off good. Let's take example, maybe a diet. We've all been on one in one time in our life. Now, maybe inside the diet, you're allocated something called a cheat meal. Now, this cheat meal has been put inside this diet to help replenish you, to refuel you, so your metabolism can speed up and you can get more from the diet as it is. But also, as a side note, it's a nice little break from all the grueling diet food we put ourselves through, the strenuous exercise and all the effort we put in to lose the weight. Now, if you're inducted in this cheat meal, what tends to happen? Well, you find yourself eating food that's more pleasurable. You enjoy this part of the diet. Then what happens? Well, let's be honest here. We've all done this. We tend to cheat a little bit too much. That cheat meal that was only allocated for one meal in that diet, now maybe it comes a full day. Or it continues on for the next day, or the next day after that, and even the next day after that. Then what do we say to ourselves? Well, I've cheated for the last 2 or 3 days. This week is ruined. I'll start again next week. So what has occurred here? How is it that something that was positive and supposed to help us been transformed into something more of a negative or unwanted habit? Well, it's that enjoyment that become a big factor. We enjoy doing things in our life. We try and avoid pain and move towards things that are more pleasurable. We all know this. So what's happening here is you're creating something called an unconscious payoff. And the majority of us have really no idea how or what this is. So I want to take some time to explain this. In hypnotherapy terms or the hypnotherapy jargon, an unconscious payoff is something that the unconscious mind works towards to always getting its own way. Now, it might be sounding like I'm making the unconscious mind or the subconscious mind sound like the bad guy, but it's doing something it's functioned to do. We live our life majority in our unconscious, meaning that a lot of the things we do are part of our routine or part of repetition. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to think about breathing. Now, if you're listening to this, you're an asthmatic, you might argue with me, but for the majority of us, we don't have to think about breathing. We can sleep and trust that we wake up in the morning. We can do certain parts of our routine and go through our day without thinking. Now, the most common analogy for this is think about when you've been driving. You may have had to stop at certain stoplights, take a left, take a right. You didn't have to think about where you were going or how to get there, especially if it's maybe driving from work to home or home to work. And then you find yourself getting home thinking, oh my God, did I even stop at the lights? When did I turn? Was there any stop signs that I stopped at? Now, this has all happened unconsciously and it functioned normally. And it's the same thing with your habits. But what's occurred here, if we look at the cheat meal we discussed earlier, is that the unconscious mind has found something more pleasurable in the cheat meal than the diet itself. Now, the first payoff the unconscious mind, meaning that all our resources, all our learning and evolution happens unconsciously or subconsciously first. Your goal might have been, well, I need to lose 20 or 30 kilos. You put some plans in place. You found a training or a gym partner. You got the shoes, you got the clothing, you got the gym membership, you got your protein powders out, and you were set, ready to go, and you were excited. You felt the emotion, you felt the payoff that was going to give you the rewards of losing weight. Now you spend a week or two through this diet, And yes, we can all agree here, diet food is not the most pleasurable, especially if you don't know how to cook. Eating those protein bars, drinking those protein powders, eating your chicken and broccoli or fish at random times in the day becomes strenuous, and it becomes a part of the routine that we want to get through without thinking. Now, it's at these points the unconscious mind is doing something very positive for us. When we start to dislike the routine we're on, the diet we're on, the unconscious mind will go into what it does best and find new ways and new things to keep you happy. This is the major role of the unconscious mind. It's to keep you happy. It's to do things for you that make you feel good so you can enjoy life. Now, when I say this, it doesn't always get it right. And when it doesn't get it right, that's when we get these negative habits. So while you're struggling with your diet, while you're struggling to get up at 5 or 6 a.m. to do your cardio, the unconscious mind is hard at work. Now, we've all experienced this, and let me give you a real life scenario. Have you ever found yourself for the first couple of days of the diet was fine, and then the days after that became really horrible and strenuous? Or maybe your training routine became more of a bother than a pleasure. It felt like you really had to put a lot of effort in just to get to the gym in the first place. This is because your unconscious mind at this point is working against you. Because A, it doesn't like it just like you don't like it, so it's trying to find something better for you. Now, as soon as we give it a window with this cheat meal, it has said, yes, I found something that you enjoy more. I'm going to make this a priority and make everything else hard because this is what I want you to do, because this is the best way I can help you move towards pleasure. And this is the unconscious payoff we talked about. The unconscious payoff is the decision the unconscious mind has made for you, so you enjoy what you're doing. And this cheat meal is one way to do it. So you'll find those cheat meals go on and on and on and on, and before you know it, you're making excuses that you can't stop. You're making excuses because you're overweight. You're making conclusions and excuses that you can't stop eating all that good food. Now, this is not your fault. This is your unconscious mind at work. And just knowing this should start to make you rethink the habits you have. Think about things like nail biting, maybe itching or scratching your skin, your diet, your routine, the way you feel about certain events in your life. These may have all started off positive to suit the unconscious mind's need, but have now become a part of you that you don't enjoy. It's become a less than positive routine or a part of your negative habits. And this is what we need to understand. When it comes to breaking your habits, when it comes to working with your unwanted habits and a part of the life that you don't enjoy anymore, doing this stuff consciously, you will hit a brick wall every time. So what I mean by consciously? By trying to do steps to help. By trying to say, well, if I am eating too much junk food, I'll just stop buying it. Or if I need to go to the gym, I'll maybe move closer to the gym or find a training partner to help assist me, to motivate me when I'm less than motivated. Now, this is fine in the short term, but we've all been here again. Have you ever found yourself saying, well, I'll just use my willpower. I won't think about the chocolate. I won't think about the cake. All I'll think about is health. All I think about is being positive in life. All I think about is training and getting fit and muscly. But then what happens? At a moment of weakness, when you're not putting all your attention on those positive things, that's right, you find yourself driving the car, driving through a drive-through, because it's all you can think about. It's as if that craving, that habit is screaming out to you. And this is the unconscious mind, the payoff in action. It's because all those times you ignored it through things that we call willpower or thought, the unconscious mind is getting your attention and making those cravings so irresistible you can't stop yourself. And you'll almost kill people just to get that good food inside of you. Then you eat it, and what happens? You start to feel bad. The unconscious mind is doing something for you, but consciously you're feeling bad. So what we do as society and what we're taught to do is try and put plans in place. We read the self-development books. We watch the self-development gurus, and they say, do this, think positively, do this in life, do this, do this. And again, we've all been here. Now, while some have validity and some have great expectations of the steps we can put in place, the majority of us fall short. We need to address the unconscious payoff. Now, without a therapist beside you helping you do this, and this is where hypnotherapy excels, you can start to just understand your habit, and maybe this will give you a small breakthrough on what you need to do. So the easiest way to do this is, let's take the diet example. Let's look at the junk food you're eating too much of when it was supposed to be one cheat meal, and that's all you're doing now. This is part of your diet. It's the cheat. It's the cheat meal diet, if you will. So what we need to understand is find out why or what you're getting. And this is the key here. What are you getting from that cheat meal? Is it the enjoyment? Is it the taste? Is it the break from routine? Let's say we have those three things down. You might write these down on a pen and paper. And just even considering these should start to assist your thinking in how you can break your unwanted habits. So let's say you've really come about and it sticks in your mind that I really enjoy the taste. Then you need to look at the diet you have and maybe adjust the taste so it tastes better. So maybe adding things to the boring foods, trying a different protein powder, trying a different protein bar. It doesn't matter what it is. You are now adjusting the boring diet to suit a better taste. Let's say break of routine is sticking in your mind. You think, well, I have that cheat meal because it helps me break up the routine and that's what I enjoy most. And again, this is just trying to discover the unconscious payoff. You might need to find a diet or adjust your diet to have more breaks in the routine. It doesn't mean cheat more, but maybe it's going out to dinner. You're still eating your healthy food, but that break of routine takes you to a restaurant. You're not standing in your kitchen boiling up chicken and boiling up broccoli. Maybe just going out with friends but still eating healthy is that break of the routine. So what's going to occur here is you're starting to help the unconscious mind find new things outside of the unconscious payoff that I had before, the enjoyable cheat meal, so it finds something better. It's essentially like saying to your unconscious mind, I enjoyed the cheat meal for a while. It's not helping me. Please find something else that you're happy with and that I'm happy with. And maybe after you visit the restaurant for a while, or you start to utilize a new diet that has a better taste, the unconscious mind gets the pattern pretty quickly. And before you know it, you're still going to the restaurant, but you're eating healthy foods and you're enjoying it. Or you've found a new diet, still has the same food, but it has another few things extra involved in it that you're starting to enjoy the taste now. We can see how this is going to play out for us. We need to understand something about habits. You cannot fix your habits consciously. They say in order to fix a habit or get past something you don't enjoy, there has to be a routine put in place. I think it's anywhere between 30, 60 to 90 days in most cases. And this is fine. This is great if you have something called strong willpower. But like we explained before, all it takes is one little slip or one little small emotional event where you say, you know what, screw the diet. I'm not going to do this now. I need something to make me feel better because I'm upset or I'm feeling emotional today. It's those things that need to be considered. So in understanding the unconscious payoff, look at what you don't like or what you have or what you don't have as far as your habit that you're not enjoying. Find out what you enjoy from it. Why do you keep doing it? What is it that keeps you doing it? And then try and think of new ways from what you get from doing it in the first place that you can adjust to help you. Now, this will take some routine. You still have to repeat this over and over. But essentially, like I said, we're saying to the unconscious mind, I need something new in my life because this is not working for me. Please find something new so you're happy and I'm happy. I get from the diet what I need, which is health, vitality, energy, and looking and feeling fantastic. But you, as my unconscious mind, still get the good taste. You still get the happiness when I'm eating. You get the break of routine, or whatever you think the payoff could be. Now, you're not always going to get this right, but this is the key of self-development. It's self-development. You need to develop yourself to understand your emotions and also your unwanted habits, which are essentially class in the emotional box as well, to understand these better so you can function as a better human being. So that's all for now. There's an insight into how to break and destroy your unwanted habits. My name is Scott Jansen from the Conversational Hypnosis Academy. Thanks for joining us. I look forward to hearing about your habit breaking from now on. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye for now.